Hello, this is the next extension of the Vatilo House in Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to start with Worksheet C, and if you see on the survey, Worksheet C does not apply to this house because it deals with skylights. Right up here. Let's just bring that up, you can see it. So right up here at the top it tells you Worksheet C, skylights. Well, this house doesn't have any skylights in it, so we won't be having any calculations on this. If you open up the Vatilo House, where we left off on the J1 worksheet, you see we had all of our windows completely done, and now we're moving on down the line. So there's skylights, that's why I put NA there, 0, 0, 0 across the board, because the house does not have skylights. The next thing we'll be moving on to is actually doors, and doors deal with Worksheet D. This is your Worksheet D right here. And let me just explain a few things on this. We're going to look at the original Vatilo House first. So let's pull this up. As you can see from this calculation, they have 2 doors. Total square footage of it right there. Your net footage, your heating and cooling HTM, and then your BTU load that each of these doors supply to it. So now we'll take a look at Gulf Coast House, this right here. I just want to explain a few things because most of our worksheets, we've been working from top to bottom. On this one, we're going to move a little bit differently. This one actually moves from left to right, and I'll explain it as we go down through it. So the first part up here, your heating temperature differentials, HTD, and your cooling temperature differentials, CTD, your CTD from table 4, and your daily range. Most of this information comes from Worksheet A. So whatever you got in Worksheet A, you're basically going to use the same numbers here. And of course, remember medium deals with the temperature differential between daylight hours and evening hours, how much of a dramatic swing there is. So we've got a medium temperature for this one. The next thing, this next line right across through here, and I'm just going to take this and show you what I'm talking about right here. Let's squish this down a little bit. There we go, this line right here, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. These are columns. So we'll be looking at columns, just how this is lined in blue right here. You're just looking straight down, so straight down. So as we go down through here, you'll do column 1 right here, then column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7, 8, 9, etc., until you get here to the very end. But these are columns, they're not lines. Our lines was on the left-hand side, and we kind of went down this way. We're still going to go down, but you're going to actually have your building construction materials down here running this way. And then, like I said, you'll have columns running this way. So basically just work from left to right. So you would start with column 1, and then move your way on down through here. And move this over here. And widen that out. There you go. So you start here at column 1. The next thing, as you move down, is this right here. This is your location information. In other words, look up under the number of the column, like for here, column 1. You got column 1 right there, and it tells you table 4A. So what information you're going to find for this, you're going to look at either your survey, which is your blueprint. You're going to be looking at table 4A exclusively for doors down through. Now you will run into some areas like this one right here. It says survey and it says exposed slab. This is dealing with a foundation. This is dealing with a floor. So I've grayed out these areas, like on a lot of your worksheets it'll have it like that. As you can see, that part right there is grayed out. And you see over here, table 4A group number, it's also grayed out. Well, the reason being for that is doors don't have group numbers. That deals with actual walls, as you can see on line 8 down below us. right here. This is your wall information here, and there's your group numbers. But doors don't have group numbers, so you don't have to worry about putting a calculation in there. Exposed slab edge deals with if you have a poured slab floor and how much of the actual edge of it is exposed. So once again, we won't have a calculation there. Next thing down, it tells you exactly what it is that you're trying to figure out right here. It says construction number, length in feet, average height, feet or width, gross area, area of opening in square foot, net area square footage, exposed slab edge, we don't use on doors, U value or slab F value, HTD or PTD-H, HTM, group number, not used on doors, CLTD, PTDC, and finally your cooling HTM. The next part is very narrow right here, and this is the part you need to pay attention to because these things that I've highlighted in green, red, and blue, these are going to be your actual calculations. When you get that number right there, you're going to transfer them to your J1AE worksheet. This will be where you've basically done your calculation on this house, and then you finally get to take it over to the J1AE, and you get to do the actual BTUs that would be for that home. The next row down is exactly what we're dealing with. This would be where you put doors. We're going to start with doors first. As you can see, they have two doors, 11N metal door north and 11N metal door south. The good thing about the Vatilo House, since it already has a calculation on it and everything, this gives you reference material to where to look for it. Now, this one is kind of misleading to me. It says Table 4A, and it is partially true, but you would also have to look at your actual survey. So I would put survey, Table 4A/survey right there for you to be able to get your entire information. So let's look at the blueprint first. Looking at the blueprint or survey, I put survey on there since that's what the title of the worksheets have. You see we have two doors. We've got a door down here at the bottom, and we have a door up here at the top. Now this is an attached garage, but it's still a door to the outside. Remember, anything that's not part of the envelope, an envelope must have a vapor barrier, and it must be insulated, and it must be a livable area. Most garages do not fall under that category, so we consider this outside temperature. Even though this is the wall of the garage, more than likely it has some insulation in it. It may have a vapor barrier on the outside, but once again, still not a livable area, so we're not going to count that. And it could be as simple as saying, if it was 12 degrees outside right here, more than likely inside the garage, it's going to be 12 degrees or higher. But it's still going to be a lower temperature than the 75 or 70 degrees that we're calculating the house for. So there's going to be a differential in between these 2 points. Now when trying to find your door information, this area that's highlighted blue right here, it tells you exactly what you need to know. We know we have a wood/metal door, and basically we have a metal door with a polystyrene core, 3 feet by 7 feet. And remember, most of these calculations that we're showing on here is width and then height. So it's a 3 foot wide door, 7 foot tall. Standard doors are usually this size right here. So we got two doors. We got one up here at the north, and then we got one down here in the south. And this one is probably the / front door that you would go out into the world, because we have a sliding glass door over here, and this will probably go out to a garden area, yard, backyard. This door here, of course, straight in from the garage. So we need to take this number here and this information, a metal door with a polystyrene, and we need to go find out what our actual construction number is going to be. They found it. It's 11N metal door north. Okay, so we'll start with that one. The A door is 11N metal door north. So they found this information on Table 4A. Now I've cleaned Table 4A up for you a little bit to make it a little bit more understandable, and this is it. So heating and cooling performance for opaque panels, UVs and group numbers, or CLTD. So let's take a look down here at what we got. This first part over here is basically how you figure out what is your construction number. Well, construction number for doors is 11. What kind of door you have gives you the prefix behind it. Now we had a metal door, so we're in this group down here on the bottom, and then we had a polystyrene core door. So this is where you get that construction number for 11 in. 11 in. Okay. So let's bring up our worksheet. And here you go. And remember, we don't have skylights, so we won't be dealing with that. Let's bring this one up where we can see it. Now you can see the area that we're working in, and like I said, we're doing this part right here first. So I'm going to kind of group that in a little bit there, so that way we know where we're working at. Okay, now both of these doors are identical. So we don't need to worry about that. We're just going to work across from left to right, start at column 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to be working our way across this way. I'm going to get rid of these boxes here. So that way we can see what we're doing, make any calculation changes. Now, of course, the first thing you should do, we need to do this up here at the top first. Always work from top down. So let's go ahead and do that. We need our HTD and our CTD and our CT from table 4, CLTD, and our daily range. So we're going to have to go back to one of our previous worksheets. And we're going to use our J1AE because this is where worksheet A information came from. So we need our what first? We need our HTD. We're going to get rid of this box. So what is our HTD? Our HTD is 46. Take 46 and we'll make us a little text box right there. And since it's our heating, let's make it red. Move that up. And I need to make that a lot smaller. Okay. And we'll put that right there. Let's slide that up a little bit. There we go. So it's 46.0 because we want to keep things clean. Always use a decimal point. Makes things a whole lot simpler. And remember, always round to the thousandths place because you'll have numbers on this calculation and in this calculation throughout it that's going to have 3 digits in it. Next will be our cooling HTM. So we'll make another text box. We're going to put it right here. And we'll make it blue because it's cooling. We look and see what our cooling HTM is, and ours is 18. So 18.0, and let's make that clear and make this one blue. Okay, so we got 46.86. Next is a CLTD for table 1 lookup. Now right here to the side of it, right here, it says roundup CTD for lookup. +1, -1, +2, -2, as required. Simply put, 16, you'd round down to 15. Let me just show you on table 4A. This is your table 4A CDL lookup. As you can see, it moves up in increments of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, a difference of 5. So let's say you was a 12. Well, 12, 11, 12, -2 would put you back at 10. 13 plus 2 gives you 15. 14, 15. If it was 15, you'd use 15. If it's 16, use 15. 17, you'd use 15. 18, you'd use 20. 19, you'd use 20. 20, you'd use 20. 21, you'd use 20. Does it make sense to you now? Okay. So ours is going to be 20. So we'll make this one blue as well. We don't want that one. We want this one. Okay, and we'll make that 20. next thing is our daily range. So what is our daily range for a house in Birmingham, Alabama? M for medium. So we need another text box. And we'll make this one black because it has no differential on cooling or heating. And we'll just put medium. You can put M if you want to. I'm just putting medium just so everybody knows what M stands for. Okay? Now we're ready to do all our house calculation. Now we're ready to do our doors and go across. And as you can see, this part right here is already grayed out. That's to let you know it has nothing to do with your calculation on doors. Same for group number. It's all grayed out. Okay? So back to this first one. We're going to do column 1, which is this one right here. We're going to start there, and like I said, work from left to right. So just pay attention to these parts up here because they tell you what to do and which table to go to. So this first one, like I said, it was a survey, and if we look at the chart here, like I said, it's right here, construction number 11. What type of door? Polystyrene core. We're using 11N. And of course, it'll probably pay, I'll go ahead and close that for now. It'd probably pay to, you know, which direction you're putting it into. 11N door, and we'll put north. Okay. Now if you want to, a lot of these doors are going to be similar. The house you're working on may have a completely front door from the back door. They may have been replaced. They may be a lot of glass. Could have a screen door on it. There's lots of variations of different types of doors you could run into. But we only got 2. And like most construction, when they put the front door up, they bought the same door to put on the back door at the same time. It's kind of like walls, ceilings, roofs, stuff like that. Usually whenever they built a house, they put all the walls at the same time, same material, same insulation. If you had a house that has a lot of add-ons, or they've continued to add on or build more rooms onto the house, you could have multiple different types of wall materials, insulation, vapor barrier issues, so just be aware of that. All right, next column is column 2 right here, survey. What was our feet? So we're going to go back to our survey. And of course, right up here at the top, it tells you our doors are 3 foot by 7 foot. And remember, that's width, then height. Okay, so we got back to our worksheet here, and a simple 3. You don't have to put feet down there because feet is already the denotation it's wanting it measured in. Same on the next one. Back to the survey. What is our height of our door? 7 foot door, 7 foot tall. Just simple. There you go. All right, next. It says column 2 times column 3. So these 2 columns here, so 3 times 7 gives me 21 for the gross area. Okay, that's our total square footage of each door that we're dealing with. Next, use gross if less than 50%. Use a French door if it's greater than 50%. Now what this is talking about is area opening. They're talking about, like I said, do you have glass like a lot of decorative doors have? If you have a large majority, if you're dealing with a house that has more than 60% glass in the front door, you're going to want to actually do it in the window section. You could do the part of the door that's left if you really wanted to be just heads-on calculating and everything like that. Calculate the glass in the window section, or you could calculate it in the glass as a French door. Or you could do the glass over on the window side, and you could do the wood part that's left over here on this side. Just as a good rule of thumb, though, if you have more than 60% glass in a door, you'll probably want to calculate it as a French door. Now, our door here are solid. They have no glass of any type, just a solid plain door. So we're going to go back to the net area, which is C4 minus C5. So C4 is column 4 here, is 21. C5 is 0. So 21 minus 0 is 21. Now the next column deals with exposed slab edge. We don't deal with that on here. That'll be down if we have a poured slab floor. So we move on to the next one. Next one is table 4A U value. So going back to our U value, let's pull back up our table 4A. Table 4A, this is our U value right here. So all the way down to here, 0.35. 0.35. And like I said, I put 3 digits in there because I always round to the thousandths place. Next column, HTD. So what is our HTD? It says Worksheet A. Right up here at the top, you already have it though. Like I said, right up here. Let me bring up a highlighting window because that comes in handy. Right up here at the top. Whoa, it's jumping all over the place. There we go. Like I said, 46. So our HTD is 46. 46.000. All right. Our next one here, to make it understandable and really sell the point home, I'm going to make it red because it's heating. It's a heating number. This is what we're going to actually take back to the J1AE. Anything that has a column up above it, remember this goes to your J1AE. Okay. So it says heating HTM, column 8 times column 9. So let's bring up our calculator. There we go. So our column 8 was 0.350 times 46, and you end up with 16.10. Of course, I'm going to go to the thousandths place. You can put 16.1. It's up to you. All right. So now we got our HTM done. We're all the way up to column 11. This is a group number. Remember, doors don't have group numbers. And if you forget it, on table 4A, make this bigger so we can all see it. There you go. Wood and metal doors do not have a group number. No column 11 for doors. Okay. Now this next part is kind of misleading. It says table 4B, and for the majority of the other calculations down through this book, you will deal with table 4B for that. But unfortunately for doors, it's actually still on table 4A. The same table we got, so that's why I labeled this one right here, table 4B. And I'll just bring it over here where you can see it. Now this is all table 4A for doors, but it doesn't really have table 4B. It's right here. It's not in actual table 4B. If you went and looked in table 4B in your J manual, this information is not going to be where you can find it. So you already got your CLTD values and everything. Now what are they based upon? Well, what was your CTD for this house? Our CTD for this house was 20. So we're going to use the 20 column. Remember, if it was 16, you'd use 15. If it's 17, you'd use 15. If it's 18, 19, or 20, 21, or 22, you're going to use 20. Always use this little algorithm right here that they got to do that. And of course, what was our range? Well, we had a medium range, this one right here. So 31 is actually what we're going to use, 31.0. 31.000. Okay. Now this next part is cooling HTM, so I want to change that to blue, so that way I transpose my numbers over just how I would. And it says column 8, which if you hadn't noticed, like I said, your column 8 table right here, this is your U value. So our U value of the door is 0.350. And times column 12, so 31. So we'll go back to our calculator and bring it forward here. So 31.000 times 0.350. And we get 10.850. calculator back up just to verify we got the correct number. Remember, transposing numbers is where most people make their mistakes. Simple mathematical problems such as adding or subtracting, that is where we usually get heat load calculations wrong. All right. Now, the next thing we got is the other door. Now, the great thing about this is just like I told you, a lot of houses, the doors were all put up at the same time. That means whoever bought them probably bought the same door to go all the way around the house. They probably made the same construction, bought from the same place. So you may get away with just doing one calculation because it's all the same thing. In our case, this is what's true because it's still the same 3x7 door, still 21 feet total square footage area. There's no glass in the front door, so it's still 21. Our U values are identical, 0.350. Your HTD is still 46, so these numbers transpose straight down, same number. This number right here, like I said, we're just going to take and copy this and just paste it. And of course we want to make it red, so that way we can know exactly which number. And do the same with this, copy, paste. And you'll see this in a lot of the calculations. It's going to be the same number because, like I said, it was all built at the same time. It ain't like they put up one wall of a house, waited 6 months later, and then did the other part of the house. They did it all at the same time. So it's all the same construction, same materials, same insulation, same vapor barrier, if it was built correctly, as it was. So there you go. All of our numbers seem to be the same. And to verify this, remember we're using the Vatilo House in Texas. So we're going to bring up their worksheet and see what did they get. 21 for the net square footage, 10.85, 36.5, like I said. Now some of these numbers are going to be different from what we see. Let's see if they got the Gulf Coast. Here we go. There you go. See, it's the same thing. Same number, same number, same number, same number. Okay. The biggest thing is on this line right here. All these that you see down here at the base of it, so column 6, 10, and 13. As you can see right there, or you can barely see, let me move that out of the way. These say to the J180. Now remember this one right here, that deals with exposed slab, not going to the J180. But this one, and this one are going to our J180. And we're about to transpose these numbers over there too. Usually, if you see in my videos, green indicates a square footage, red indicates a heating HTM or heating BTU, and blue is for cooling HTM or cooling BTU. Okay, so let's look at all our information that we got and carry it over to our J180. So we can get rid of table 4 now. And your calculation on doors is nearly complete. We want to bring up our original worksheet here. Here we go. So we're calculating everything back here. And we'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see everything. Alright, so what did we get? We got 16.1, 16.1. So I'm going to copy that. And that's going to go there. And that's going to go there. Our construction needs to go as well. Let's get all of it. Carry construction over to construction. Remember, don't put this in the actual place up here because that would be incorrect. Remember, we don't have skylines, but we need to always, on any type of documentation, it's always best to put non-applicable, mark something in there just to keep you from actually putting something in there that you shouldn't put in there. Just like I did right there. See, that's what I'm talking about. Even I make mistakes. That's why, like a guy used to tell me, that's why they put erasers on pencils, because we all make mistakes. It's just that simple. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So first thing we need is our heating HTM. And of course, we got it nice and red right here, so copy that and put it in the correct place this time. And remember, they're both the same, so same number. And then our cooling HTM. Cooling HTM goes there. Cooling HTM goes there. All right, next thing is the net area. That's going to be column here. And let's make these green. So that way we don't mess up. Green. Copy. Now, if you want to, just like I have done many a time before, you can put your double zeros or your triple zeros in there, just so you know that's a 21 and not something else. Okay, we're ready to do our BTU calculation now. So remember, we go from here times the square footage, and we get this answer here. So let's bring up the calculator. And as always, use a calculator if you're good with math on hand, on paper, and everything like that. Scratch paper is great because you can see if you made a mistake somewhere. So we got 16.100 times our square footage, which is 21. And we end up with 338.1. 338.100. Okay. Now this is a pretty simple calculation on this one as well because it is identical. So we can go ahead and put 338.100 there as well. Next calculation is going to be our cooling. So we want to get our cooling BTU load that this house is going to have through the doors. We've got 10.85. Calculator up again. 10.850 times my square footage, which is 21, and we get 227.850. 227.850. Now, of course, doors are identical. Copy that and paste it right there. The last thing we need to do is this very first part right here, which we probably should have done at the very start of it, but just don't forget to do it. The load area. What is our total load of this? Well, we got 21 and 21, so that would be 42. Okay, we're going to go back to the Vatilo House on the original worksheet and see what they got. Because like I said, we're just verifying that we're doing it correctly. And they got 42. Make it bigger for you so you can see it right there. They got 42. I got 21 and 21, so we're all good. Everything seems correct. Everything seems to be the same. So we just want to make sure right here on any square footage that we have total, and I should probably make this green as well because it is a square footage. Let's go ahead and do that. So that way we know, hey, that must be dealing with how big something is. There we go. And we'll do it the same for the windows up here. I just didn't want you getting confused on, oh, is that where I put my net footage or all that kind of stuff. This is just the entire load area. In other words, how big our total surface area of thing is. So we had 221 square foot front doors. That's why we ended up with 42 right there. And that should complete doing worksheet D for doors and transposing the information over to your J1AE. And as you can see, we're moving right along. Worksheet D tends to move along pretty fast. The next video will be dealing with walls. Like I said, all the different walls that we have in this actual calculation and what we have to do in order to do those calculations. Thank you.